with the mannequin more or less complete, we can start actually doing the sculpting. So we're going to go to the sculpting tab inside of here. I'm going to leave the wireframe on shaded, but to be frank, you don't really need it. I just think it makes it easier when you're watching it from a video perspective, because you can see the dimensions as I'm doing this. Um, so there's a lot that we can go over as far as the sculpting is concerned, but really what I want you to do and what I want you to think about is more or less using that grab, kind of like what we did before. Start with grab and just more or less place the positions of things. Now, you'll notice that if I try to grab something, notice it's not working. And that's because I don't know which one. It's whatever object I had selected last time is the one that's active. So to switch between them is you hover over it and hit Alt Q, and then you'll see, oh, now I can grab and move it. Okay. So before I do, actually that should, okay, yeah, it does affect the other one. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'll make this big. I just have to make the brush big, and I'm just going to kind of push that in. Actually, you know what? I should probably start with this object first, and then I might even be able to, can I do this? Yeah. So if you do forward, where the question mark is, hit that. I'm just going to grab this, and I'm just going to generally adjust its shape so that it looks a little bit more like my doggo shape. She's a bit of a chonker. So I'm just going to try and get, I guess this would be up a little bit. I'm just going to try and generally try and just sort of shape it. Okay, let's undo all that. Okay, let's do that again. For this object, because I need to make sure I have symmetry on. So make sure you put symmetry on if you have an object such as that needs to. So she's a bit of a hot dog shape. And then we'll just kind of grab this. I'm just going to push this up a little bit. And then just hit F to make the brush smaller and pull it this way, flatten that down. Kind of pull these this way, flatten that down. But I'm just going to, a little bit out here for like the chest, and this kind of goes in a little bit. Just really going through and just shaping this roughly to what I think her torso would look like. So we'll say something like that. That looks okay to me. So now I'm going to hit that forward slash again. That'll bring back the other elements. And now I'll hit Alt Q. And with this one, I'm just going to go ahead like I was doing before. And I'm just going to, oops, I thought I hit middle mouse button. Just going to try and shape this a little bit closer to what I think her, her thigh area looks like. So we're just going to kind of go like that. And that needs to kind of bleed in, right? So I'm just basically shaping this in a way that, makes sense. Let's shift to smooth that a little bit. I'm going to hit the forward slash. And what I want to do is bring this way because I want this shape a little bit flatter. And then we'll bring back this way. I just wanted it flatter. Okay, so something like that. I'll hit the forward slash again. That way it's just a flatter shape, which is what I was looking for. Okay, that was good. I'm going to hit Alt Q. I'm going to go to this one now. And so you can see what we can do is, let's hit F to make this smaller. I can basically adjust these shapes, and I'm just trying to make my my um my leg here, right? So it's a little bit easier rather than having this be one large shape to actually form these volumes by doing it this way. I'm just going shift to smooth. We'll just shift to smooth. Something like that looks okay. Just got a bit of the dainty legs. I'm gonna hit Alt Q for this one. You can see this is way too big, so I'm just gonna pull this down this way. Okay, so I'm just going to more or less use what I know and utilize these tools here in order to, let's hit shift a little bit to smooth it, to shape the leg here. All right, I'm gonna hit Alt Q for this one, and this is definitely not the right. I'm not gonna worry about this being 100% right because this is obviously gonna need a bit more detail than I can kind of get as far as the 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 sculpt here is concerned. So I'm just going to try and get this to be something. So we'll just go down like that. All right. So I'm just using more or less this in order to just shape all. I'll hit Alt Q. This could go in a little bit. Maybe I'll hit Shift to smooth a little bit. Okay. So Alt Q. Why are you not? Oh, it was on it. Okay. So basically I want you to do that. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to try and reshape these pieces. You don't need to watch me do the whole thing. And then I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So you can see roughly what I have here. I did add the ears. I just duplicated. I just went to the modeling. I grabbed this. I just did Shift D. I pulled it up, and then I think it looks funny like that. Like she would have like these big bunny ears. But that was how I did the ears, and I just bent them till I got them to be roughly this shape. They're not perfect. Um, so yeah. This is not a collar, by the way. This is just her chunk. She's got like a lot of extra skin right here. Um, so yeah, so you can see roughly, I just have basically the sculpt, spend a lot of time making this part look good because it'll be easier to get the general shape here. Don't worry about getting details. You can see she doesn't have eyes or a nose or a mouth or anything like that. There's, it's not like a ton of detail. What I want you to do is just get the general form down because what we're going to do is we're going to combine all these together and then we're going to start sculpting onto the surface. We're just trying to get the volumes. Okay, so just make sure that it looks roughly what you think it should look like. This could probably be improved in some ways, but I'm going to call that good. All right, so just get all the pieces together, kind of stick them on, and then once you're happy, you can move on to the next video.